What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Today, I'm super excited because we're gonna be doing a full face of brand new makeup. There have been so many new exciting releases, so I have all of them in front of me right now, and I'm gonna do a full face and let you guys know what is worth your money and what is not. We have, I think, like 1 or 2 drugstore products in today's video, but for the most part, these are like very hyped up, yet still high price point, high end sort of makeup products. Like I have the new Natasha Denona foundation, I have the new Makeup by Mario foundation. I wanna try both of them. Some new Fenty, new Hourglass, new Natasha Denona. These eyeshadow palettes, like, are you kidding me? They look so pretty. So I'm very excited to try everything out, but we got to see if it's worth our coin or not. Everything I use today will be linked right down below in the description box, so check there. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and click the little bell right next to the subscribe button so you're notified of all my future uploads. And let's go ahead and get started. I also totally forgot that I have the new Tati Beauty makeup brushes, which I'm very excited about. So we're gonna use those today to do our makeup. If you guys have not heard about these are brand new from Tati. I loved her eyeshadow palette back in the day, and now she came out with brushes. And I have every single one of them right here. Good mix of both face and eye brushes. Some of them are dual-sided. So that's what we're gonna use for brushes, just so we can test everything out. But before we even jump into the makeup, we need to prep the skin. To prep the skin, I'm gonna use these Han Yul Fuchsia Brightening Toning Pads. These are so stinking good. They're a K-beauty brand. You can find them at Sephora. They do also have them on Amazon though, and they actually told me that they're gonna be on sale for Prime Day. So if you wanna get them, now's the time. Get them on Amazon. But these are so stinking good. Shout out to them for partnering with me on this section of today's video, but their products are really great. The toner pads you actually leave on your skin. You leave them on for 5 minutes, so I'm just gonna let them sit for 5 minutes. They instantly make the skin brighter and make you look more awake, so I love to use these in the morning to like prep before I do my makeup. They're also very hydrating, which is nice. And if you're looking for another product from the brand too, their sleeping mask. This is the Fuchsia Brightening Sleeping Mask. So good. This is gentle enough to use every single night, so you can use it as your nighttime moisturizer if you want to. It is a really nice texture, honestly, like a similar texture to how a moisturizer would be, but once you apply it on, it dries down, so it's not like messy to sleep with. And I like to do this as my last step in my routine before I go to sleep. So I'll do like all of my normal nighttime skincare and then slather this all over my face as like the last step, and then you can go to sleep with it. And then when you wake up, you have softer, brighter skin. I love it. The brand itself is just very good. And like I said, they are going to be on sale for Prime Day, which is super exciting. It's going to be 20% off individual products and then 25% off bundles. So I will have these linked down below. You guys can shop them on Amazon. Like I said, they are also available at Sephora, so definitely check these out. All right, so I'm going to take them off for right now. They instantly brighten up my under eyes, and now we're prepped and ready. Now, for all over the face to prime, I want to try this new Fenty primer. So this is their Grip Trip Hydrating and Plumping Primer. Really cool packaging on this. I have not seen anybody even like talk about this, so I'm like, all right, we gotta try it out. I think they came out with a mattifying one as well, but obviously I'm using the hydrating one. I have drier skin, so I figured this would be a better option for me. Let's see how she feels. Ooh, feels nice and cooling going on, which I like. Honestly, feels just like very silky and does feel nice and hydrating. I mean, not gonna make like a huge impact in like what the skin necessarily looks like, but it feels nice for sure, and definitely gave a little glow to the skin. Alrighty, now for foundations, we have the battle of the new foundations. So this has been so hyped up. This is the Natasha Denona High Glam Foundation. So she came out with the High Glam Concealer a few years ago. It is one of my favorite. It is a beautiful concealer. Honestly, I had it a couple years ago, like when it first came out. I think I used it all up and did not purchase a second one, but I need to because it was literally so beautiful. So she came out with the foundation version, which I feel like I knew was going to be really nice. And then Makeup by Mario also came out with a new foundation. The new Makeup by Mario foundation I tried once. Same thing with this, but I want to try them both because these are like both the two very hyped up foundations right now to see like which one we like better. So let's just do Natasha Denona on this side. This is shade P3. Let's use one of Tati's brushes. This is the SP1. I'm gonna use that to blend it out. Ooh, okay. Coverage, spot on. Really nice coverage, which the concealer was same thing. It was like a fuller coverage concealer, but it didn't look like cakey or heavy underneath the eyes. So I literally, like when I'm done filming this, I think I'm gonna go to Sephora and repurchase the concealer because I'm like, I forgot how much I loved that. Foundation looking really nice though. Very similar. Like still looks skin-like, doesn't feel or look super cakey or heavy. However, coverage is totally there. So I'm liking that. Brush also really soft. Very nice. Let's go in with Mario. Also with this foundation, I want to let it fully dry before I give like full first impressions, but it does leave a bit of a glow, which I like personally. Obviously we paired it with a hydrating primer. If you're like super oily or something, maybe pair it with like a mattifying primer, but it definitely allows the glow to peek through, although it's not like shimmery or glittery. That was one thing with Mario's original foundation, is it had more of like a glow to it, but definitely had like a shimmer almost in it, which I didn't mind as somebody with dry skin, but I know that didn't work for everybody. So in Mario's foundation, I have 8N. This is the Surreal Skin Natural Finish Foundation. So let's go in with this and do the same little like pump and a half. So we're using the same amount of product. Let's see, hopefully this one is a decent shade match. It's looking a little bit light, but I think we'll be able to make it work with like foundation and, I'm not foundation, with like contour and all of that. Also really nice. Oh, I wanted to like give you guys a concrete, like one is better than the other. I don't know. They're honestly both so beautiful. Upon initially applying it, I feel like Mario's is a little bit more mattifying. It's still not a matte foundation. It's considered, I think, natural finish, which is like in between dewy and matte. I would say that Natasha Denona's has a little bit more glow to it versus Mario's a little bit less, but it's honestly very slight. I'm looking at them like literally in a very up close mirror. I don't know which one is better. The only difference I can say is that Natasha has a little bit more glow to it versus this one a little bit less, at least on me. What do you guys think? Like, which side do you think looks better? Also today, I don't think I mentioned this, but I'm filming in completely natural daylight. So you guys are getting like, what you're seeing is what, you know, it looks like in real life. There's no like fake lighting going on here, or like my studio lights. So I like to film in natural light sometimes so I can really, you know, show you guys. And both sides look really nice and both sides give a really good coverage. I don't know which one I think is better, honestly. Let me wear them throughout the day and then I'll update the description box with like how they wear and let you guys know. So check down there where I list all the products with links. I'll put a wear update and maybe that will be the tale of like which one we think is better, but they're both really nice. Alrighty, up next we have m.ph. So this is Mary Phillips' new line. She is a celebrity makeup artist. I'm pretty sure most well known for being Hailey Bieber's makeup artist, among many other celebrities. Super insanely talented, and who a lot of people would consider as like the founder of the underpainting technique. I'm not 1000% sure if she's like the first one to ever do it, but when I think underpainting, I think of her. Which underpainting is really when you would go in with like your contour and your highlight and stuff before your foundation, which I typically don't ever do that. So I want to use this palette in a way that I personally will use it, which is as a contour and highlight after the fact. So I'm gonna, obviously I did my foundation already. Now we're gonna go in with this and see how it works. So I have the light palette. So I'm gonna go in with the lighter contour shade. You know what, I'm gonna mix together these two because we have like a cool toned and a warm toned, and I'm gonna press this onto the skin to sculpt. Ooh, buttery. I mean, I figured they would be, but these are really, really nice. This is also her brush that she came out with the palette. So this one is not Tati Beauty, it is dual-sided. I'm trying to read. It says the underpainting dual-ended sculpting brush. So I'm gonna just tap this right on here. Really, really nice. And I love that you get both the cooler and the warmer tones. So depending on what you want to do, you can use both of them, and they're quite pigmented, which is great. I believe there's a light, a medium, and a dark. So again, I am using the lightest one, but this is perfect for me. I feel like for brush, for this like purpose specifically, how I'm like sculpting my face, I prefer a little bit of like a bigger brush, like something more like this. So I'm gonna actually switch it out. I don't have any extra product on this brush. I'm just gonna use this to blend, but this is good for more like targeted areas. So I think for underneath my eyes, I'm gonna use that. But when I'm using it to like contour, a little bit of a bigger domed brush, this is the EX2 from Tati Beauty. At least that's my personal preference for blending. I use the smaller side and the more pinky tone right here. And I'm gonna apply this under my eyes just to brighten up that area. And then I'm gonna use a little bit of the darker shade right in the center. Very creamy and buttery these shades are. I love that. They blend super easily. These are really quite nice. Now you could go over this with a like concealer if you wanted to. I'm not going to. I honestly feel like it gives me a good enough coverage. I would say it gives like a medium coverage on its own. So I don't feel as though I need to go in with anything more, but you can if you want to. I'm gonna take this brush from Tati. This is the SP5 and a little bit of this cool shade. And I'm gonna use that just to sculpt out the sides of my nose for a little nose contour action. The shape of this brush is perfect for that. And then we have a new blush that I've been wanting to try out. This is the Maracuja Juicy Multi-Stick from Tarte. This is in the shade Latte. So pretty little like toasty shade, perfect for fall. This is a multi-stick, so you can technically use it cheeks, lips, I think eyes too, but I'm just gonna use it on my cheeks today because we got a bunch of other products to test out. I'm gonna blend that out with this side of the ES2. This is the dual-sided brush from Tati. Ooh, this shade is pretty. It's actually a lot more like berry. I feel like once it gets blended out, it looks more brown, but on the skin, it actually has some berryness to it, which is very pretty. Okay, now to set everything in place, I wanna use this new Fenty powder. This is in the shade Strawberry Milk. So I believe these are new. I love the Fenty Beauty powders, but I think they reformulated them. Oh wait, there's a little thing on here, hang on. I have not tried the pink shade. I used to love the butter shade. It was like a light yellow, but they have this Strawberry Milk shade. So I am gonna pop that underneath my eyes with the ES3 brush. Nice little domed brush like this. Ooh, this is brightening. And this is the kind of pink powder that I like. That's not actually, like, it doesn't show up pink. It just has the slightest amount of pink in it to brighten the under eyes while not making your under eyes actually pink. Because that's a completely different look. Not that that's not a nice look. It's just not what I like. I feel like so many people can pull it off. I personally cannot. So I like pink setting powders to add brightness, but I don't want it to actually look pink underneath my eyes. And that's exactly what this one is doing, so I love that. And honestly, I already knew I liked the Fenty, like the original formula they had. I think it's very blurring, which is really nice. I'm gonna kind of just put it in the center planes of my face as well to brighten, but it really is like smoothing and blurring, which is beautiful. Now for the rest of the face, I wanna use the new Hourglass palette. So every year they come out with these ambient lighting edit unlocked palettes around the holidays. I have the light version and it is just so pretty. And this did come with a little brush, so I'm gonna use a little bit of these two, which these are like finishing powders just to kind of set the skin. Then we have this shade right here, which is a bronzer. I might need the next shade. This one's a little bit light for me, at least for bronzer. Like I normally use a darker bronzer than that, but nonetheless, still pretty. Use that to set where we did the contour. And I'm gonna mix the two blushes together and add that on the cheeks just to set that cream blush that we used. Ooh, I love the blush. It's very pretty. I'm gonna put it right over the nose as well. I do think I wanna try the medium one though. I think the light is like a little bit too light for me, but let's try the highlighter and tap that on. Very like pinky sort of toned, a little bit more like lighter than I usually use. However, very pretty. Like look at that glow. Ooh, so stunning. This highlighter is like insane. I love this. And again, I don't normally use like pinky, sort of like light pinky shades like this. I go for more of like a champagne with like a little bit more gold in it, but it's so pretty. I will totally use this like all the time. So very nice. These palettes are not cheap, but typically I use mine throughout the whole year. I still have mine from last year. So I think that they are worth it because they are so versatile. I think I want to try the next shade darker. However, beautiful palettes that you can use for a very long time. So I always love when they come out with them. Okay, now let's jump in to brows. I have a new brow pen from Anastasia. These are like these skinniest brow pens I feel as I have ever seen. They are super tiny. Another thing that I actually really like about these is that on the other side there is a little spoolie. So often with brow pens they don't put a spoolie. I don't know why. It's like we need the spoolie, come on. But a lot of times they don't have spoolies, but these ones do, which I like. Now my brows are like insanely light right now. I have not tinted them in like way too many weeks, so clearly I'm due for a brow tint. So I'm gonna use probably shade Caramel. This is a little bit lighter, I think. I have soft brown and caramel. And yeah, caramel is a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna go in with caramel and I am going to just draw on tiny brow strokes to fill in the brows. Because my brows are so light right now, I don't want to fill them in like too much, because then I feel like it can just look harsh. But I just kind of drew a line underneath them to give me a baseline. Like I like to do that, and then little brow strokes up off of that. And this is really nice because it is super precise with that tiny little tip, so you can really get in there and draw on the brow strokes. I do feel like this is feeling a little bit dry on me though. I'm like shaking it up, and then I mean more product is coming out, but this is literally brand new, so it shouldn't be like that dry. Let's see how that goes as the weeks go on, but it already feels a little bit dry the first time I'm using it, which I do not love. However, the size and everything I do like. So we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic with it, but I don't want it to dry out after like, you know, 2 uses, because that'll be upsetting. All right, up next we gotta try this new Natasha Denona palette. This is the Eye Sculpt Texture and Tone palette. This looks so beautiful. Very neutral, but we also get like a nice amount of like pinks too, so you definitely get some versatility in here. Typically Natasha Denona's eyeshadows are really nice. So I want to go in and try and do a look. I'm going to go in with the EX5 first and the shade Y2. Another thing that's nice about this palette is it is a mix of both cool tones and warm tones. So you do get both. This shade is kind of right in between, not super warm and not super cool either. So I'm gonna just buff that into the crease. Brush, very nice. Shadow also very nice. Blending and buffing easily, but the brush is super soft, which I do really like. Okay, with that same brush, I'm gonna deepen up the look now with C2. This one's much more cool toned, almost like a cementy sort of shade. I'm gonna pop that in as well, and buffing those same 2 shades on the lower lash line to smoke everything out. This is with a SP7 brush from Tati, Details by Tati. I keep wanting to say Tati Beauty because that's what her eyeshadow palette was, but the brushes are called Details by Tati. And honestly, the brushes have been really, really nice. No complaints. Now I want to try a shimmer from the palette. So all over the lid, I think I'm gonna go in with C1, and I'm gonna just place that all over the lid. Ooh, look at that shimmer. Okay, this is very pretty. Love it. Looks beautiful. And like little to no fallout with this shimmer too, which is nice. Like it's staying on my lid and I don't have a primer on or anything like that. Literally just the concealer that we used before. And then I'm just gonna go in with R1 right underneath the brow bone just to make that pop, and then right in the inner corners. Honestly, this shadow, like the palette, was exactly like how I expected it. Super high quality, very nice shadows, pigmented, blended well. Do I have other palettes that look like this? Yes, like it's not like revolutionary. However, I do like, again, that we did get the pinky tones in here with a mix of both warm, like this row right here is pretty warm, and then we do have like really cool, which this row is, and then this one is a little bit more neutral. So you do get a lot of different tones, although they are all neutral, which is personally like the kind of looks I like to do. So definitely gives you versatility. I do really like it. You have a palette that looks exactly like this with all these shades ready. Do you need to like run out and grab it? Not necessarily. However, it is really nice. I will absolutely continue to use it. Okay, now the one drugstore product that we actually have today is a mascara, which I'm very excited about this. This is from L'Oreal. I typically really like their mascaras. This is their Extensionist mascara. So I have not tried it at all. I am going to curl my lashes before I apply. And then let's just go in with this and see how it does. Ooh, okay, little curved wand. I'm gonna just wiggle this on my lashes, coating the lashes really well, and definitely makes my lashes look insanely long. Like that is really, really nice. Okay, L'Oreal. I'm telling you, the drugstore knows how to do mascara. I'm assuming because it's called Extensionist, it's like meant to be a lengthening mascara, which it absolutely gave me length, but I also feel like it's pretty volumizing as well. Like I really only did like one coat and you get a lot of volume on the lashes. So I would say that it is also volumizing and looks quite nice. Okay, for eyeliner, I really want to try, this is new from Hung Vango. I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name. He is a very talented makeup artist who also just launched a line at Sephora. So I have his eyeliner here, and this is in the shade Along the Lash Line. So it's just supposed to be like a true black, I believe. So I'm just gonna go right in on the waterline. Oh my goodness, that is insanely pigmented. Wow. I'm like barely touching this into my waterline, and that's how much pigment we're getting. This is a very, very nice eyeliner. I like that a lot. I do have his lip liner as well, which the shade I have is Create the Shape. So it looks like a very pretty kind of neutral lip liner, which is normally my favorite kind of shades. Ooh, pretty nice and creamy and pigmented like the eyeliner. He also had some really beautiful eyeshadow palettes, so I wanna check those out. This lip liner color though is perfect. And then I'm gonna use this Gem Beauty lip gloss. I have been using this for the past couple weeks. It is so, so good. If you guys follow Emily Gemma on Instagram, I followed her for years. She came out with a line of lip glosses and I tried them and was like, oh my goodness. So this is shade GNO, Girls Night Out, and it is the sparkliest, prettiest lip gloss, like the lip gloss of my dreams. If you guys have followed me for a really long time, you will know that back in the day, Tarte used to have a lip gloss. It was like their H2O gloss in the shade Sandy Toes, and I loved that. You can never find it anymore, so I'm assuming it's been discontinued, but this is very similar to that lip gloss was, and this is a very similar lip gloss to that one, and just so shimmery and pretty, but not sticky whatsoever at all, and gives a beautiful look to the lips. They kind of have like a mintiness to them that feels a little bit plumping on the lips, but also like I feel like makes your mouth, breath smell good too. So I have been nonstop using this lip gloss. It's so pretty. She came out with 3 shades. This is my personal favorite. However, you can't go wrong with any of the 3. They're all really, really pretty. So love that. And then last, but certainly not least, we have the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Liquid Blurring Balm. This is a mattifying setting spray. So we're going to see, because we have a lot of glow going on. Honestly, still can't tell which of the foundations I like better. They are both absolutely beautiful. Like you can't go wrong with either. But let's set everything in place. Oh, interesting little top. Do a spritz test. Ooh, very light mister. Literally feels like nothing going on your skin, which I love. And honestly, feels like hydrating. It's interesting because it says liquid blurring balm, mattifying setting spray. However, let's give it a second to dry down. Feels really nice. Doesn't feel like drying or anything at all going on. I do feel like it did blur a little bit, which I like. Okay, very nice. All right, that is everything, you guys. Like I said, I will link everything right down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. And I will see you very soon in my next one. Bye.